Hello everyone, welcome to Alchemy IAS High Five, the High Five current affairs session. So these top five current affairs will be relevant for our UPSC preparations. In today's topic, the most important topic that we will start with the India-China border dispute. Recently, especially during this SEO summits, in this summit, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi with the President of the China, Xi Jinping, met and talked about the border bilateral disputes, and we expect that these through this dialogue, it will help the both country to de-escalate the tension and to improve its bilateral relation. This particular topic will comes under our General Studies paper to International Relations, India's neighborhood. And in this particular article that was published in the Hindu, that discussed about also the meeting that is Shanghai Cooperation Organization. And this regional summit is also important. So in this session, we will help you to focus which are the area that we should study for the prelims examination and which are the areas and point we should note it for the mains examination. Let's start with this topic, the India-China border from tension to talks, especially when we go back to the Kelvin value tension that was escalated between these two countries in our tension Himalayan mountains, where our soldiers on the both side and had these kind of tensions and escalation later through the border level, commander level dialogues. We tried to improve our relation by de-escalating the situation. And now through these regional summits, the organization which was mentioned in the news is the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. And this meeting held both these two countries, India, China, to come and have a dialogue, diplomatic dialogue, to de-escalate the situation and improve its bilateral relations. That's why this particular topic is relevant. The context is very important. Please also note it down that the this year SEO summit was held in Tianjin, that was in China. Then the major area, especially for the prelims examination, we have to study about the SEO. SEO was originally established in 1996 as the Shanghai Five. Later, with the addition of Uzbekistan, it was came to form the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. The objective of this SEO to ensure regional security, stability, and also to counter the terrorism, and also to ensure an economic cooperation in this Eurasian these regions. And in this particular organization, you can see that currently we have around 10 members. India and Pakistan together became member of this SEO organization in the Astana summit in 2017. And if you're targeting these examination in next year or then another year, you can also expect that the question something with respect to the SEO. So please note it down. And this organization has two permanent institutions, which are one is its secretariat that is located in Beijing, and another one is to counter terrorism, that is to both all these countries together working within this organization to combat terrorism, and it has a regional anti-terrorist structure that is located in Tashkent. These facts are important for the police perspective. With respect to this particular current affair, we have to remember also with respect to the recent summit of the SCO that was held in the Tianjin, that was in China. And then we also have to study the geographical perspective, the map of this India-China border, and also study about, we have to study about line of actual control, the central sector, then the eastern sector and the western sector. All these sectors, the geographical boundaries of the LAC region is also important. And another one in this particular news also mentioned about the cultural diplomacy, spiritual diplomacy, where after the Galvan value issue, this you can see that the pilgrimage yatra, which is usually happen in the border countries of these two countries, India and China, the Kailash Mansarovar yatra has been again resumed and it has eased the visa restrictions. So this will also help this cultural and spiritual bridge between these two countries to improve its people to people relation and trust. That also help us to improve its relation between with the two countries. So that point is also important. In mains perspective, these are the dimension, these are the aspect that we should have included in our answer, like the how this particular issue will be connected to topic like border stability and SEO definitely help these both countries to come together and have a dialogue. This is after a long years that the both countries said are discussing about this particular issue and tensions. And then the geopolitical role that India has to balance its ties with China, and also recent issues related to the US tariff policy. It has affected the India's interest. So how do we India balance its relation with the China as well as the India's relation with the America, the US? Then how this SCO will help us the regional stability, regional cooperation, the multilateral organizations, and its role in ensuring regional stability and addressing security and combating terrorism. In that perspective, we can also use this as an example. Then also this dimension should be there as a soft diplomacy, the spiritual diplomacy with reception, which is resuming these Kailash Mansarovar Yatra aspects can also be included in our mains perspective in mains preparation. Now, the next topic from the diplomacy to the social change that we have in news today that was mentioned in the Hindu, and this is a case study that we can include in our GS2 mains answers related to role of NGO in development. Specifically in this article, as discussed about the an award that is Raman Magsaysay Award 2025. This is a prestigious Asia's award for the best social service, and this award has been received by an NGO named Educating Girls, the Educate Girls. And this particular NGO has worked mostly in the rural areas where we have seen millions of the girls were dropped out of the school due to poverty, social norms, and unable to access to this education. And this NGO were, with the help of this initiative, they address these challenges and they retain these girl children back to school into classroom, and they ensure the higher education and employability of these girls. Especially these are the issues that we have seen in Indian society, the gender justice and this education of the girl children, and the role of these kind of NGO help in addressing that. It is actually helping India's policy, including national education policy, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. Also, it will help us to achieve the SDGs goal, SDG 4 and SDG 5 related to quality education and gender equality. And this case study of the the Girl Educate Girl NGO has received the regional Asia's the best award, that is Raman Magsaysay Award, can be included in our main answer related to examples giving about some NGO has worked for the girls' education, especially in rural India. This particular news is also important in that perspective. Some of the content has been included. It can be related to role of NGO. It can be given as a case study for example or illustrating the community involvement for the development, or it can be integrated with the policy program, policy linkage. So this will help us improving our value addition to the main answer, especially in social justice. The next topic that we have for today, that is a recent statements during the recent addresses by our Prime Minister in Man Ki Baat. He has emphasized and advocated for the Indian citizens to collectively take the responsibility to promote the Swadeshi goods, especially during these seasons. We have many festivals are coming, Ganesh Chaturthi now and Diwali now, and Prime Minister through these addresses educating the citizen to prefer and prioritize buying Indian goods. So this will help in improving local industries and improving India's economy, particularly MSME sector. Through this activity, he advocated for a statement like this statement has mentioned by the Prime Minister in this Man Ki Baat can be used in our mains answer, including essay. For example, that he has mentioned that is we are pride with this Swadeshi, our local goods. The mantra that we have is the vocal for locals, and the path is to achieve our objective of Atma Nirbhar Bharat, that is a path, and finally we'll achieve the development goals by 2047 with the active policy program that we have under the Amritikal, and that we have to achieve Atmanirbhar Bharat by 2047. So these kind of quotes and statement mentioned by our Prime Minister will be useful for our mains examination, including SC. So these festivals are coming so that we as a citizen has a responsibility to improve our economic self-reliance. This perspective was mentioned in the news, and there's also another extra additional value addition point that we can include in our mains answer. And historically also, you can also read about the Swaraj Swadeshi movement that was the beginning of also the Indian tradition and recognizing India's its own productions. And historically, it has relevance. And even today, especially in the context of the some foreign countries, including America, has imposed tariff. So rather than depending on the foreign goods, we have to promote and we have to rely on Indian local Swadeshi goods. This particular current affair is relevant in that particular context. Now, from the economic self-reliance to the next topic that we have here is with respect to climate change and environment. And there is an article mentioned in the today's Hindu in the science page specifically, and it's about a report which has been published by the new Nature Geoscience study. And in this particular study, the data it shows that the sea level, especially the sea surface level, is rising faster in the region of Maldives and Lakshadweep. These are the islands, island country, and island regions, and vulnerable to, especially these island countries are vulnerable to climate change. Because of the climate change, we know that there is an increasing the temperature and as resulted into increasing the sea surface level. The scientist in this particular study has used micro atolls. You can also see in the next slide the micro atoll, and this particular picture has been used in the Hindu article. These micro atolls that we can usually see in surface level, this micro atoll usually grows nearest to the surface level, and in normal condition it usually grow in sideline. But if the sea is rising, then the growth of this particular coral micro atoll is growing upward. That is unusual. So scientists are using this particular the coral micro atoll in order to understand and get data about how the sea level is rising, how faster is the rising of the sea level. So that is how this particular news article is discussed about the data that reflects the faster rising level of the sea in the region of Lakshadweep and our Maldives. So both the country, India and Indian Ocean region, the countries together should work towards addressing these vulnerabilities, especially the people living in these island countries. Ethical responsibilities, as well as this can be included as a case study in the climate change related questions. It can be in even essay, these report, these data can be included. In prelims examination, someday question can be expected about the importance of study of these coral micro atolls in helping understanding the sea level rising. So this is a major key takeaways that we'll get from this particular news article. The moving on to the next, that is related to security challenges, the cyber security challenges. In this article that we have got it from the Indian Express News, in this article it has given some new data related to the government actions that recently Ministry of Home Affairs has registered a lot more cases related to cyber fraud. We have seen in many cases and instances of the skyrocketing, the phishing scams and cyber frauds, and this has resulted into a loss of, especially there is a data, and we have this data shows that India loses around 1000 crore monthly due to cyber fraud. And government of India has taken this action under Ministry of Home Affairs through the I4C initiative, that is under the registry of Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center. Through this initiative, in the latest update that we have got in this today's news, that the cyber fraud registry has been blocked around 13 lakh these fraud transactions, and that helped to save around more than 5,000 crore rupees. So it has a link to the economy, and it will help in financial security due to the cyber threats. Any answers coming in our cyber security modules, including the cyber ethics parts, this example, this action, the effort that government of India has been taken, and that help to save this much money will improve our digital areas, the digital friends, that to ensure a safe cyberspace for the cyber transaction, especially in the coming age of the crypto transactions. These articles also important for our mains perspective. With this, the five topics of the day, the high five has been done. And now the all we can also again revise the first and foremost important topic that we discussed today was about India-China border tension, and both the head of the government had a discussion and dialogue during the SEO summit of 2025 at Tianjin. And the second topic that we discussed today was with respect to a case study where an NGO named Educating Girl has received Raman Magsaysay Award 2025 for changing the social change through the educating the girl children in rural areas through providing education. The third one that we discussed today was about the Prime Minister addresses in Man Ki Baat and emphasized for the citizen to take responsibility for promoting local goods and has word like vocal for locals, and the path is to Atmanirbhar Bharat in order to achieve the development goals. This statement will be relevant for our mains preparation. And the next topic that we discussed today was with respect to the rising sea level. A data, a report has been mentioned in the news. So this news and this data reflects the study of the coral micro atoll health, understanding the years of change in the sea rising levels, and that also can be used in our mains examination. And the fifth and the last one that we discussed about cyber security challenges, the cyber fraud, and government has blocked around 30 lakhs of these cyber transaction, which helped to save around 5,000 crore rupees. These are the five major topic of the day, which include the multi-dimensional and different syllabus. And before ending the today's session, we have a question here with respect to SEO, the regional organization, Shanghai Cooperation Organization. This is a three statement type question. Let's look at this question. If you have an answer, you can also give answer in the comment section. The question, they consider the following statement about Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SEO. The statement one, SEO originated as Shanghai 5 in 1996 and became the SEO in 2001 with the inclusion of Uzbekistan. The second statement is India and Pakistan became full members of the SEO in 2017 at the Astana summit held in Kazakhstan. And the third statement is the SEO secretariat is located in Tashkent, and while regional anti-terrorist structure, that is RATS, is located in Beijing. Which of the above statements given above are correct? 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, and C 1 and 3 only, and D all of the above. If you know the answer, you can give the answer in the comment section below, and which of the above statement is correct or incorrect. With that, we are ending the today's session. I hope this session has helped you and added certain value addition to your preparation. Thank you everyone for